Keir Starmer and troubles seem to be a perfect match during his more than 100 days in power. However, these troubles are now gradually spiralling out of Starmer's control, and it is highly likely that he will have to leave the position of Prime Minister sooner than expected, as a number of journalists are openly calling for his resignation. Now, let's take a closer look at this shocking development. But first, please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any hot political news from across the country.
Keir Starmer just doesn't step aside and let Angela Rayner take over because, like it or not, she is your epitome of social mobility.
As mentioned in the introduction, it is either ironic or even sad to witness politicians like Keir Starmer facing the struggles of ordinary people. Ian and Simon are entirely correct in discussing the issue of the cost of living. Simon, seen as the voice of common sense, pointed out that the situation is only getting worse, even though the political elite still want to act as if everything is under control. While retail sales may be rising, the reality shows that this is primarily due to people spending more on clothing, forced to buy warmer clothes because of the freezing winter without heating fuel. They need to keep warm by dressing in layers, and there isn't much information being conveyed about this. The current government has stepped in, clawing back winter fuel payments from many retirees, but this is not a top priority. Social care may once again be overlooked. People are seeking anything that can keep them warm without being too expensive. It seems that politicians believe a slight increase in sales means people's lives are improving. But this is not the case. People are merely coping with skyrocketing prices for essential needs, such as food, personal hygiene products, and even clothing, all of which are becoming more expensive than before. Seeing high supermarket sales does not mean people are feeling happier. In fact, it indicates that people are rushing to buy whatever they can before prices rise even further. Meanwhile, Starmer appears oblivious to this reality. Perhaps in Starmer's world of illusion, there are only his friends in Parliament, those who can afford minor increases in their shopping bills. But for the rest, every increase becomes a burden. People are limiting heating, cutting back on meals, while politicians still assert that these are signs of improvement. Is that the truth? Better for whom? Moreover, it cannot be ignored that supermarkets claim to be fiercely competing to keep prices low. It is quite clear that they are still profiting at the expense of the consumers. The question arises, why vote for this government? They are not delivering on their promises. Prices continue to rise while major chains are pressuring producers and maintaining high profits. They pretend to stand by the people, but when faced with the choice between heating the home or buying fresh vegetables, it is clear they are not the ones suffering the hardships. The current state of immigration has made many angry, and this anger is entirely justified. Surely one has heard about an Albanian criminal who was deported but returned to the UK. The new twist is that he met a woman, made her pregnant, and now claims the right to live here. It is hard to believe. This brazen attitude is a slap in the face to law-abiding citizens, especially when considering the difficulties many face in obtaining visas or work permits. This is a notorious thief returning as if this country has no borders. He does not hesitate to argue that he should be allowed to stay because he has a family now. Truly, where will this end? The public outrage over this situation is real and is aimed squarely at Keir Starmer and the Labour Party. Many people are questioning how this could happen. How can someone who has been deported return so easily? This is leading to criticism of the Labour Party's handling of immigration issues, or more accurately, their failure to address them. Starmer appears powerless in the face of this issue, attempting to placate people with evasive answers in interviews. And naturally, no one is satisfied with his current approach. He tries to maintain a neutral stance, but this does not benefit him. The majority of those questioned feel frustrated with a system that allows cases like this to slip through. This raises the question of what the real priorities are regarding immigration. On one hand, he makes statements about securing the borders and ensuring public safety, but on the other hand, he bows to an individual who disrespects the law. It seems that people are forced to accept this absurdity without questioning it. And what about Starmer? He remains silent, as usual, regarding this case. If the prices of food and heating costs are bad, the situation regarding housing costs is even more concerning. Mortgage rates are rising sharply and rent is equally challenging. There may be hope for a plan from the government, but in reality, people still struggle to manage on their own. Mortgage rates have hardly seen significant changes. Although they have slightly decreased from 5.25% to 5%, is this enough to improve the situation? The reality is that it pales in comparison to the daily efforts to make ends meet. A 0.25% cut sounds like a cruel joke. Simon does not hesitate to share that housing costs are the largest expense faced by the UK. He has to cut back on other expenditures to keep up with his mortgage. This story reflects the plight of many, sacrificing dining out and saving for minor luxuries just to keep a roof over their heads. Meanwhile, Starmer seems busy with various other issues, but housing appears to be an area he hopes will resolve itself. People are feeling frustrated, wondering why there is no specific plan to alleviate these costs. It is unacceptable for ordinary citizens to just smile and endure while Starmer remains indifferent. The necessity for more housing is clear, but a government that understands the urgency of the issue is also needed. If they were truly serious about housing supply and finding ways to address mortgage rates, perhaps people wouldn't have to live under such stress as they do now. It is even more surprising that this is not a new issue. House prices have skyrocketed for many years, yet it seems only now they are realising this is a serious problem. Simon emphasised that years ago the housing crisis was barely mentioned, it was simply a fact of life. Currently, the situation has deteriorated to the point that people can only talk about it. Every time the topic comes up, there is a different story about those who have had to sell their homes due to unaffordability, or worse, those who cannot even get a foot in the door. Home ownership now feels like a distant dream for many, and things are only becoming more challenging. Another troubling issue that needs addressing is the controversy involving Lord Ali and Keir Starmer. Rumours have circulated, but now everything has become clear. Lord Ali has been spending lavishly within the Labour Party, as if money were no object, sparking public outcry. This goes beyond a few small donations. These are extravagant expenditures on a large scale, leading many to wonder what he seeks from such generosity. The Labour Party is seen as representing the vulnerable, but can they achieve this while appeasing figures like Lord Ali? He spends money freely, raising questions about Starmer's relationship with wealthy donors. Lord Ali is not just an ordinary donor, he has influence and connections. He has hosted parties on Downing Street and is believed to be involved in shaping the future of the Labour Party, outlining the early days of a potential Labour government. This is not just a matter of money, it also affects the direction of the party. From another perspective, this is quite troubling. People are beginning to wonder whether Starmer is truly in charge, or if Lord Ali is the one holding the reins. The Labour Party seems to be drifting away from its roots, seeking support from wealthy donors, while ordinary people can only stand by and watch. A new storm is also brewing around Starmer concerning Sue Gray. This former senior official has just been dismissed, leading to a wave of accusations about instability at Downing Street. Sue Gray was not just any official. She played a crucial role in maintaining order. Now that she has left, the criticism directed at Starmer is intensifying. The major issue here is that Sue Gray's dismissal reflects Starmer's leadership abilities. He has just gathered his team and is already facing scandals and accusations of incompetence. Critics are questioning whether he is capable of leading a government when he cannot maintain stability within his own party. If feeling disappointed with what has been heard, this is entirely understandable. Starmer does not want the public to be aware of all these issues. He hopes people will overlook these scandalous news items. That is why interaction from the public, such as liking this video, subscribing and turning on notifications, is essential. Public engagement is crucial. Can Starmer change the situation? Only time will tell. Currently, the pressure is mounting, and if he does not act promptly, he will face unprecedented strong opposition. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to receive the latest updates on political developments. Let's join together in demanding accountability from our leaders for a better future for the people.